a pretty important match for BYG, especially up against the Hellpigs here.
Yeah, we are getting onto the Rift now, and BYG winning here will allow them to continue to fight for better playoff spots. But Hellpigs, I believe, were on the same score as J-Team, so winning here, they have to continue to win here throughout to the rest of the season, else they might find themselves losing opportunity for this playoff.
Oh, we got a reverse cinematic this time. Coming back in the game. It's different.
And tier starts for both mid laners here.
Yes, both of them playing for quite a lot of the scaling. Comet comes out of 1116 as well, and actually will be the lethal tempo instead of the grasp for the Jacks, so really playing for those longer trades. And we've kind of seen different things from the Jacks in this matchup, right? But I think you're never going to kill Cassante quickly, right? It's always going to be a pretty long fight, so lethal tempo kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it certainly does. Obviously, could go towards that Conqueror, but I don't hate the lethal tempo. As we see here, Kongwei starting at his red side, on the red buff in fact, and Taco starting on his red side at the Raptors. So differing jungle paths, differing side of the map.
I would be very surprised to see anything happen early, but if there is something that will happen, I feel like it should be in this bot lane.
Yeah, it tends to be around that Nautilus, right? Just a hook landing. Sometimes you see some sums lost, and then knowing that the junglers can head there. But as we look top, they are tending to do these trades. Counter-Strike used to not allow that passive to apply.
116, keeping the wave, actually pushing. Will be interesting. Can he do anything with his priority? I feel like it's probably better just to keep it in the middle, try and set up for some sort of gank. Perhaps could be a way into this game. Top lane is actually trading pretty aggressively as well. But doesn't end up kind of translating into anything, at least for now. Oh, Taco, though. He's on Likai on the top side.
Yeah, as we've panned away from it, but it looks like Lakai will be fine.
Taco had the Beyond Gaming emote there as well. Taunting him just a little bit. Does deal a little bit of damage. It is warded out, though.
Yeah, so maybe some early pressure going towards the way of Lee Sin, and you do need to see that. Lee Sin tends to fall off a bit. He becomes kind of an ult bot. But yeah, Taco now, health advantage. We're going to feel really nice in this lane. Lakai no health pot anymore, as bot lane is recalling.
It will sweep out this ward. Cull actually picked up by Tide Sivir, so really playing towards the scaling. And I mean, you can just see that across the board, right? Again, those two tiers from the mid laners really just trying to say, we're not going to do too much in this game, at least in the early parts of it, but those 5v5s, we just want to scale up as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and a 43-minute game between these two last time, so looking maybe to look for a sort of a same game time again.
Mid lane looks pretty even. Nothing really too crazy happening.
Taco looking bots. It'll be his second gank of the game, as Kino is getting taken low by Tide. And it's going to be very dangerous here for Beyond to sort of get this into tower, but Taco seems to be walking back up towards his blue buff. Kongwei
pathing down this top river. Not sure if he'll be able to find anything after the Scuttle. Hong 2 is forced to reset, was getting poked very, very low. The Scuttle actually did not get killed there. Managed to sneak into the bush.
Does eventually go down. Kongwei will recall, but he might have been seen on that ward placed by Taco in the top lane.
And the trades are, going the way of Taco on this Cassante. We've seen time and time again, sometimes the Cassante gets the kills, sometimes the Jax gets the kills. It seems like one of the closest top lane matchups.
Absolutely, and I think in general we usually see the Cassante winning out early, and then as Jax kind of gets a bit of scaling done, he starts winning out, but that is what we're seeing this game, and Cassante health lead with his 3 pots still up.
Taco using this mid priority. Hong 2 is TP'd back already and 1116 hasn't. Hong 2 actually picks up the Ruby Crystal. So most likely we'll be going towards the Rod of Ages. But the Catalyst is already picked up by 1116, so actually pretty big item lead in mid lane.
Yeah, as we see an initiation go on to IC8, he has to flash away. He will escape with his life just about. Flash and heal down now for Lulu. Maybe look a chance for a repeat gank for Kongwei, get Fing ahead.
That is both Sums burned. Could there be something else to come after this? 1116, I think, with that item advantage in mid, might actually be able to get consistent mid prior and come down maybe punish ICA for using those sums.
Yeah, as Taco comes down, just clearing out a ward. Kongwei is a bit low, so does have to be careful. And importantly, Tide is still very healthy here in the bottom lane. I think we'll just see, I expect to see a repeat gang down here, because without those sums on the Lulu, she becomes incredibly vulnerable.
It could be the kind of thing you go for where once Hellpigs start up the Herald, you look for that bot dive, right? We've seen that with a few teams. It always becomes interesting because at that point, you know, it's kind of, can you get enough done with the Herald to make the bot dive kind of worth it? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But Leakai, he's getting some priority up here and some good trades for himself as well. So could set up for the Rift Herald top as well if they wanted to look for that.
Yeah, Taco not having backed yet and Leakai having that Sheen is giving him the superior edge here. And Taco might just go down, maybe possibly a bit greedy not having backed. Leakai will also go down. And honestly, although First Blood goes over to that Jax, Taco's going to be able to teleport back here first. Maybe Taco actually just takes all the minions instead.
I think he had to take the creeps. They probably would have died. The death time was kind of long. I think it is slightly better for Leakai, right? He gets a bit more gold, denies some creeps. But Taco did manage to keep his flash. Let's take a look at the replay, though. So Taco, I mean, was just kind of getting outplayed in the trades. And Leakai started dealing so much damage here, right? Dodges the knock-up and then was so close to just killing him cleanly and then not having to make it a 1-for-1. I think, though, still worth it. A lot of creeps denied. First blood gold. Does feel good.
Yeah, I think a potential misplay there. Taco could have maybe buffered his unstoppable to not get hit by that counter-strike. But as we see another initiation on, Taco taking a lot of damage here from the Jax. Kongwei sitting in this bush. He has to be so careful.
1116 moving up from mid as well, but diving at Cassante, especially with flash, is no mean feat.
Yeah, Taco will be caught by the 116. Explosive barrel will be unstoppable, and that flash he saved earlier maybe paying dividends. As we see him going in 1v3,
Whoa.
certainly not the greatest decision.
I'm not sure what exactly he was thinking there, but does engage and gets taken out. Also loses another big creep wave, so this is very good for the side of BYG.
Yeah, definitely questionable for him to have gone in there. Maybe he thought the angle was slightly different on that all-out and he wouldn't have ended up in the middle of 3, but evidently he did and just pays the price.
He does, and now Herald and Dragon both available. The sums are still down on ICA if Beyond want to go for that, but I think with how ahead they are, can just go for the Herald. So let's see this initially. I think it's honestly kind of greedy for BYG to start this off because it feels like Cassandre should be pretty much ungankable, still having the flash. But I think, yeah, I mean, they trade a lot of damage, which is good, and 116 positions himself nicely so that when Taco comes here, can get the trade. I'm surprised he didn't just combo the ult early, but hold on, we're back in the live game. BYG.
See who picked it up, but it looks like Hellpigs. Nice Dragon's Rage, but now he's just going to dive for that. Taco does pick up the Eye of the Herald importantly, but will also be going down here. And now we have a 2-1-2 Jax up in that top lane. They do lose the Herald, but you have to feel that is just not worth what happened.
It really isn't, and I think we were saying there shouldn't be too much action here because both sides want to scale up and team fight. But after you fall behind topside, I'm surprised that they've still kind of tried to force things around that because this Cassante, you know, Taco did pick up the Herald here, but where can you look to use it? And it feels like you're so far behind in this matchup that things are going to be really hard. Let's take a look at the replays. So the Herald's getting very low, and I think Hellpigs want to commit to trying to pick it up after they secure it, right? But the problem is, there's just not enough damage. Hong2 only has the Catalyst. Taco's already behind. Taco on the Lee Sin is also not particularly ahead, and he just pretty much instantly dies, right? So much damage coming out. And after that, Hellpigs, they have nothing left. I'm really surprised they tried to contest that.
Yeah, and they did get it. They could have also just left, you know, like, you know, how Beyond turn up, just leave. But instead, giving over some more kills to the side of Beyond, and they're kind of slingshotting forward. They're 2k up already. It's only 10 minutes in. You have to think they're now going to look to, you know, control this Dragon side and pick that up with Tide and IC8 both being low on mana.
Yeah, the first Dragon hasn't yet been picked up by anyone here. There is mid-prior for 1116, especially because he will be getting the Rod of Ages pretty early in the game. I think can probably get it now. Much earlier than Hong2 is definitely fell behind a little bit. Yeah, Rod of Ages is complete. It's a very nice timing here for Gragas. And it's actually going to be able to scale on this game quite nicely.
Yeah, Dragon started up. 1116 does reappear in his middle lane, but it seems like it's just going to be given, which I think's the correct decision here.
Does look like it'll go the way of Beyond Gaming. So not the earliest Dragon picked up, but I mean, with their early game lead and now putting this potential drag condition on the board, certainly feels good.
Yeah, and with obviously both teams sort of wanting to scale, you don't want to go to that Dragon too early after gaining a slight lead and throwing it away. So I think really, really good play here by Beyond.
Taco is still managing to find himself a CS lead in this matchup despite falling behind, but you're expecting these kills to kind of feel worse later, right? Once Jax completes the Divine, it's going to be much more difficult for him to play out this matchup, and just getting those 2 kills makes that come so much sooner. 116 will be returning to mid lane, and Hong 2 expends his TP, still does not have the Rod of Ages, so it's going to be extremely delayed on it. And I think that's one thing you always have to consider is that Rod of Ages, once completed, is a great item, but the build path for it is definitely not the best in terms of skirmishing. The Catalyst's obviously nice for laning, but you're so weak damage-wise early, and if you get it late, you just don't even have your rower stacked by, say, 3rd Dragon, which you're almost always forced to contest.
Yeah, absolutely, and Lukai does use his teleport top here. Taco headed down river.
There's no Ghost for Tide.
Yeah, here we go. Massive just erupts in the bot lane. Double knockup by both Null Assault and Wukong ult. Wild Growth used onto Tide but will go down. That was an incredible engagement there by Beyond Gaming.
If I were help, the
Oh, 1116 looking for a solo kill here on Hong. Won't find it, but great amount of damage. And you see just the power of having that Rod of Ages completed. Cassiopeia wailing on him, but not really getting anything done. More trading done in the top lane as well.
Hong 2 might even be forced into basing again here soon, which after he just came back from a base, you really don't want to base again without having a Rod of Ages, so maybe he's forced to stay, but let's take a look at the replay bot. I mean, I think this is the most explosive engage I think I've ever seen, and if I were Tide, I would have been legitimately jump scared in this situation because they really came out of nowhere, and the hook was really nice as well from Kino at the end. Managing to kill Tide is very big. They also got IC8 sums out, so massive win there for Beyond Gaming, and they're kind of snowballing pretty well.
Yeah, we're really seeing in this game just why Kungwei is our MVP leader and kill participation leader in the league. Really getting things done. He got it done on top. I mean, he started off getting Lulu's Sums bottom, then went top and got stuff at the Rift Herald, came back to bot and got a double kill just then. He's really playing this map, got control everywhere, while Taco kind of leaving a lot to be desired.
Jax now has a Divine Thunder all out.
Okay, goes all out. Jax does have to be careful here. Will Leap Strike away. He is on only 1 HP, and Taco gets the solo kill. So continually, we're seeing these top laners kind of trade solo kills.
Cassante is such an insane champion. I mean, that was criminal. I feel like Jax couldn't even move for the majority of that. And yeah, I mean, I think so many times I've seen this matchup, Jax picks up the solo kill, and then Cassante picks one straight after. Or just the other way around, all right? It's just a very volatile matchup where if you make a mistake, it's punished very quickly. And Taco, I mean, now he kind of gets himself, you know, not just back into this matchup, but he gets plates as well.
Yeah, and look at this. We see on the hunt. No, it was not Pop, sorry. That's just a Lulu polymorph speed. But Feng losing a lot of health here.
He does.
Taco possibly looking, does land the Q.
Trying to get aggressive, but I don't think anything will come of it here, especially with 116 in the river nearby. And just a minute away from the 2nd Dragon here. I think both teams perhaps still want to contest. Although if you're the side of LPX, perhaps scaling is just better. Let's take a look at this fight. So down mythic item at this point and also down a level. But manages to just bring him under the tower and deal so much damage, right? I think this is maybe 3 tower shots taken. Almost gets out, but just so much distance covered from Taco. Takes him out. Leak Guy, he's probably complaining about that champ.
Yeah, but I have to say, really well played there by Taco to first get that knockback, followed by the all-out into tower. So definitely a deserved solo kill, and Lukai maybe going to have to play a bit more respect to this Cassante, as Rift Shield does go down to the side of Beyond.
Dragon's in 30 seconds, but Feng just lost both his sums in bot lane during that replay. So despite having the shield bow, is not going to be as strong as he'd like at this fight, just because he does not have the sums, although there isn't a lot of threat onto him, so it should still be fine.
Yeah, and I imagine we'll see just the top laner staying up here. We might see a 4v4, and obviously you do have to favor Beyond. The power of the Wukong and the Gragas at this stage is just going to be so much more than the Lee Sin and the Cassiopeia. As well as Nautilus is really able to offer a lot in terms of CC and zoning in these team fights.
116 TP submit, and they have bot priority as well, so this should just be picked up here by BYG. If you're the side of Hellpigs, I think you just want to scale. You've got the very strong Cassiopeia and Sivir scaling, but they've brought Taco down, so it looks like they want to contest.
Yeah, and Lakai will be late to this. Conway finds an engage onto Tide. Spell Shield will not hit anything. Explosive cast onto IC8. Resonating Strike will also hit onto Conway. Hook goes wide.
Yeah.
Taco lost a lot of health.
Pretty creative engage there from Kongyue, just walked straight past Taco for it. And with the Herald, this should be the mid tower broken.
Yeah, and Taco's still hanging around down there by the river, but you have to feel like after this, Dragon will be... Well, I mean, Hong2 has teleported here, full health, and I believe just picking up a needlessly large rod.
Hellpigs, they are going to re-enter the river here, so they still want to contest, but their health bars are low.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they should be doing this, but they are going to start it up.
Well, Lakai has gone top and so has Conway, so it should just be the free dragon. Well, not free dragon, but dragon will be taken without any deaths, and Lakai should be able to claim this top tower, as well as priority gained mid lane.
The dragon is picked up, but at what cost? You lose this mid tower. Top tower is also getting... Or sorry, you lose the top tower, you almost lose the bot tower, and you lose waves mid. It's obviously nice to get the dragon and buy yourself more scaling, but it's a big gold lead now built up for BYG, sitting at 3k.
Yeah, and it just feels like slowly but surely Beyond are finding these little bits of gold advantage. Of course, Dragon going over to Hellpigs feels really good for them to be able to buy some time. But from that, we did see Lakai getting more gold, as well as Zeri picking up some mid waves.
Second item comes in here for 116. Does have the Seraphs. Shouldn't be any fights here for a while. There's no neutral objectives up. Most likely we'll just see farming and scaling for a bit. I think on the side of Hellpigs, you know, getting that drag, it does mean that you can just wait pretty much until 3 items if you really want to. At the same time, you should start losing a little bit of the map, right? The mid tower is down, and Beyond Gaming do feel stronger in fights at the moment. So maybe Kongyue can start to look into these jungle quadrants and maybe take away some of the camps.
It's interesting to look at sort of the CS totals of each lane. It really tells a story of like mid lane kind of just farming up, bot lane the same. Obviously there was a skirmish. However, this top lane is like 20 CS down on the rest of the map. And they've just been fighting the whole time. So definitely more priority on those skirmishes than trying to deny CS than there is on actually just straight up gaining it.
Bot tower does go the way of BYG. Will anything more happen here? I mean, we actually see Kino getting pretty aggressive. Perhaps looking top here. Yeah, he's going to look for the play on top. Taco, he does have flash, but does not have the ghost.
Yeah, no tower here. Does go unstoppable. Not sure, all out, and it's going to be very hard to catch him now. Goes unstoppable again. That champ is ridiculous.
He just has so many dashes. Does able to get out. In fact, does not even have to use the ult. Or sorry, does not have to use the flash, just uses the ult.
Yeah, unstoppable twice in that little engagement.
Zeri, looks like they're not going to go for the BT build. Probably just isn't necessary here. There's no real poke coming in. And also just not a lot of threat on the Fang in general. So you can just play for something greedy. I am kind of surprised that he didn't go for the Ghost, right? It doesn't feel like the heal was super necessary, but maybe thought that that early 2v2 with the Nautilus, you know, could come down to some all-ins, and then having the heal would be nice. Tied having the Ghost, though, I mean, the scaling here from the Civilulu is going to be pretty insane.
Yeah, definitely a hard scaling composition here on the side of Hellpigs, and they do have the perfect champ to delay games, right? Sivir, probably the best wave clear champion in the game, even can clear Baron or super minions with ease. They're looking to see, I guess, how late in this game they can get them to the point where Sivir will just be taking over.
She certainly has the time, right? 2 more minutes and what is only going to be the second drag for either of these teams. Could maybe see a Baron started up from the side of Hellpigs. They certainly have the DPS for it. They're looking at Taco again, but I don't think they can kill him.
Doesn't quite have ult, but he is just jumping away. Jax does get onto him, stunned up with Counter-Strike, flash away by Taco, but that's a big cooldown to have gotten, as Hellpigs do start up the Baron, but walk away as Beyond sort of collapse on them.
They are forced off it, and getting the flash from Taco is nice. I'm not sure if it actually can be punished though. BYG, they are regaining some of this Baron control. Probably just making sure that Hellpigs can't start it up. There's definitely the potential of, if Beyond commit too many members to the drag, the Hellpigs could just turn around and DPS it down. Now have 2 items on the Cassiopeia and getting pretty close on Tide Sivir.
And just a bit of wave clearing here by both AD carries. 1 minute until this dragon, so I think this is going to be a very important fight for both teams.
Only 50 seconds away, and everyone's bringing members mid, so it looks like it is going to be a fight.
Yeah, and almost a 4k gold lead has been grown here by the side of Beyond. It kind of feels like out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, the gold lead is nice. They definitely should still be favored to win fights. Now, 30 more seconds. Likai is pushing up this bot wave, and there's so much vision for the side of Beyond Gaming on that Baron. So it's very unlikely the Hellpigs are going to be able to rush it down in time. Have good DPS, but not so fast they can just take it down in a few seconds. 116 might just play goalie on this mid wave, try and prevent Hellpigs from really entering or doing anything on the map at all. Blue buff started up by Kongyue and Kino as well, posturing around. 116 really trying to make sure nothing can happen here. Actually playing for an engage.
Yeah, looking here mid. Gragas flash body slam onto Tide. Will miss the explosive cast as we see a massive 3-man cyclone. Lakai on the side. Another cyclone here. Man, Taco is taking a lot of damage. Let's see what he can get done in All Out. He hits one of them. Q to knock Lakai into the team, but Lakai's happy to be there. And no one quite got down, but very, very low health bars on the side of Hellpigs. And you have to feel like, I mean, Beyond could even possibly look to pressure Baron. I don't think they will.
That was pretty insane. I think Beyond Gaming should have definitely killed Tide there, right? The ult being missed from 116 is pretty bad, but this should still be the tier 2 mid as well as the Dragon going the way of Beyond. So it's a win for sure, but they were so close to killing Tide, right? He used both his sums and still lived on extremely low health.
Yeah, and having killed him, I don't think he would have been able to use that thrill of the hunt, which probably leads to more kills, honestly.
Could have even been the Baron picked up if all that stuff goes Beyond's way. It's still firmly in their control though, right? The gold lead, remains a bit above 4k. They've got those 2 dragons. And now without the sums on the Hellpigs bot lane, they're Tide and ICA. They're very vulnerable to any sort of follow-up engage, although 116 did commit his flash. Kongyue still has his, and he's certainly very good at finding these engages.
Yeah, as does Kino, so maybe sort of flash Nautilus ult to also get things started, although that can be spell shielded.
Hellpigs probably now just want to look to keep controlling the topside jungle. I think if you can take away any of these camps, should be a good start. Bang. Will he just reset here? Actually, it looks like he might take some Raptors.
Yeah, just eating all the sort of gold he can to get to those. I mean, it looks like, I guess, what armor item do you think he's going for here? Probably the Lord Dominix, I'd have to imagine.
Should just be the LDR. There is a lot of armor coming in from Taco. And even with that, right, Feng actually dealt a lot of damage to him in that fight, so it's only going to be stronger when he manages to complete this.
You're right, but there is also a lot of healing, so I was thinking maybe go towards that healing cut instead, but armor might be sort of more what you need to take care of.
Hellpigs do get pushed out of this topside jungle. I'd be very surprised if Baron actually gets started up, but I think on the side of BYG, just keep playing and take away cams, play to make a pick as Hellpigs look to come in. Especially when the flashes are down, right? That's always something you have to keep in mind.
Yeah, we got Lakai and 1116 working on both side lanes here to sort of pressure someone to meet them, maybe start off the Baron, get one of these teleports down.
Hellpigs, they're still really trying to make sure they can get this Baron vision. Beyond, though, they have a lot of angles onto this.
Yeah, Kongyue might be able to find something here, but definitely don't want to start a fight onto the Lee Sin or the Cassante.
Kongyue is just repeatedly queuing people, just padding the damage stats a little bit. They have full control, though. I could maybe see BYG actually start up the Baron here. I mean, they have just so much control over the area. Yeah, the Baron is being hit. I think this is a look to turn angle, though.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. We have a lot of champions that can get over that wall as Taco is pulled by Nautilus. Goes unstoppable. Cyclone to immediately eliminate Tide. We have a 3-man Petrifying Gaze actually does not land. And that is just currently a 1 for 0. But Sivir going down, that's a lot of their DPS. And you have to think Beyond might look to start the Baron again as they do.
Yeah, they can just make the same play again of looking to turn. They find more chunk on the Hong 2, who's forced to flash away.
Yeah, Taco going in here on 1116 was polymorphed all out onto 1116. He will be going down after the stopwatch, you have to think. Taco going into the middle of the team, getting a lot done. Double kill here for the side of BYG. Hong 2 not able to escape either, and it will now be the Baron.
The fight, it was very close at least to begin with, but Feng completely untouched, and 116 actually managed to live, right, with the stopwatch, even managed to get out, and I think this all kind of stemmed from Tide not having the sums, was engaged on very early, and despite having a lot of damage, pretty much just instantly taken out. So now Beyond Gaming, even without the Dragon win condition, they're going to find themselves with a massive gold lead and the tools to kind of increase it to even more. Resets come through. Let's take a look at this replay here. So Tide, he walks up and it's tough, right? He thinks he's safe, but just kind of engaged on by Kongwei with the flash is taken out immediately. And then there is a lot of damage just kind of traded here. You can see Feng just outputting a lot. They go back to the Baron, right? They know that because a lot of sums have been used, they can just turn back onto it. 1116 finds another creative angle, and the combination of the Nautilus Gragas forces another flash out of Hong 2's Casio this time. Perhaps they even didn't need to flash, but it's hard to know. And then the re-engage, right? All the damage is going on to 1116, who has the stopwatch and is so tanky. And keep your eyes on Feng. It's pretty much untouched. Once again, just stays relatively high HP, constantly dealing in this team fight. And Hong 2 is the last one to fall.
Yeah, and it really goes to show just how important it was for Kongwei to keep that flash after that prior engagement, because without that, possibly Tide is able to live, and you don't get as much off that. So really well played by Kongwei, and good usage of his summoners here to ensure a continual lead in this game.
That top tower is picked up by Taco on the Cassante. I think PYG, though, should continue to pressure. Might not even care about the Dragon, right? It's not a huge win condition here. I think just continue to pressure.
Hong 2 does get explosive cast, pulls in Taco, not your ideal target. Knockback there by Lee Sin ult, but Feng mostly unfazed at this time. Lakai going in sort of into the middle of 3 of them.
Lots of ults used here from both sides. Mid tower is starting to take some damage. The waves aren't synced though, and I think Sivir Wave Player will actually keep Hellpigs in this game. Beyond Gaming need to do a much better job of syncing up these waves, make them crash at the same time, or force some sort of dive, because otherwise it's just never going to happen. They're trying to slow push this wave. It's going to be more synced than before. Will they actually crash at the same time? I think not quite, but this could be... Okay, it's pretty good. I think they should be able to break at least one tower here.
Yeah, certainly seems like it. Kongwei working on that middle tower. Looks like it might be the one to go down. Although Cassante's in the middle of 3, does get that wild growth. 4-man stun from the counter-strike as another 4-man explosive cast comes in, and 116 going wild with Feng, and it looks like this will be the game.
It does look like it. That was an insane engage, actually. I feel like the side of Beyond just really played that well, and what was a relatively close game for a long time is now well and truly in Beyond Gaming's favor as Tide. He's going to desperately hold on, but I don't think there's much he can do here. Has a lot of damage, but without his Lulu, shouldn't be enough. Although,
he might have held on to this game.
I mean, the
possibly
mid inhib.
Kongwei going up to harass at the Nexus could have potentially cost them the end. Maybe they couldn't have, but you have to feel like they could have.
I think you're right. I think they could have ended, but unfortunately did not focus down the Nexus towers. And Kongwei will pick up the GA, so I think the next fight should definitely go the way of Beyond Gaming still. But it's a nice shutdown picked up there for Tide.
Yeah, and exactly the champion you want it to be on at this kind of stage and this map state.
So Hellpigs, they engage. There's 2 people showing mid, so it's a 3v5. But the Nor ult, and then followed up by the 4-man E from Lakai, as well as 116 who just drops the explosive cast on for so much damage. I feel like that should have been the end, but let's see what happened, right? Because they have the creeps. They can just siege. Oh, we won't see what happened. There was a 3rd drag picked up, though, in the meantime.
Yeah, so just working on more win cons, although, as we've said, I do feel like the game could have ended there. Importantly, 2 inhibs down. one Nexus tower down, so it's if you lose one more team fight here as Hellpigs, you are almost certainly going to lose the game.
Fang out of nowhere has kind of found himself with 5 items, right? I mean, it's almost full build here. Last time we saw him, I feel like only had is it the Last Whisper?
Yeah, the Last Whisper
the
before.
component. And now just is so incredibly fed. And I think Hellpigs, if you're to win a fight at this point, it just seems impossible.
Yeah, there is a little glimmer of hope though in this Sivir. The Sivir is only slightly behind in gold, and with the map stats, hold on, we are seeing a flash kick by Taco and a missed explosive cast. I don't imagine this. Oh, we will see Kongye go in with the Cyclone, and Taco will be going down. 2-man Counter-Strike, although Taco is just going to kill Kongwei here, at least pop the GA. Kongwei gets out of there.
Ooh.
As Hong2 flashes to confirm that kill.
He does get sniped, but someone has to base. It looks like it will be a TP, actually. Can they stop this? Oh, very, very close.
Oh, doesn't hit Hong2. Good job sort of preventing that hook from landing, but as Sivir turns up, this wave will be annihilated.
Yeah, the tower gets very low, but once again, Hellpigs managed to delay the game.
Yeah, and importantly, get Guardian Angel off of this Wukong too, so that's a big cooldown, as we do see teleport from Taco coming in from behind. He will immediately just be focused. Can he live? Gargoyle Stone Plate giving him some time. 116 in the middle. Does land the explosive cast, but was unstoppable. And here we see Feng really showing us what Zeri can do, as he does get polymorphed, but continuing to just wail onto the side of HSP.
They're so low. Feng.
He's
going pretty crazy.
Has to be careful. Sivir with her boomerang blade can get some kills here. Wild Growth comes through, does protect her, but Feng will confirm those kills. If Kongwei can get her, you have to feel like it will be ended.
I think it will be. And look at the ADC damage, right? 10,000 on the Zeri, 8,000 on the Sivir. Both ADCs just really showing why they're so strong in their teams. But I think there will be too many creeps. Feng, he has lifesteal, he has the shield bow. The ult comes out. Hong2 has his ult as well, though. The Petrifying Gaze is up. Kongwei, he's on the way.
Yeah, and Taco spawning, importantly, very soon. Just 5 seconds away. If he can somehow hold out for that. As we say, Kongwei is invisible. Petrifying Gaze will come out, but Feng is just targeting down this Nexus. Flashed on, but Cassante does not have the damage to take him out, and that is our game done.
Oh, it went a few more minutes perhaps than it needed to, but it is ultimately picked up by the side of BYG. And honestly, both ADCs, I feel like, in those fights were going insane, right? I mean, they were just putting out huge amounts of damage. For the side of Hellpigs, I think it was surprising for me that they contested so hard so early when they do just have that sort of scaling, right? I felt like they oftentimes took fights that they didn't need to and kind of made what was, you know, they were kind of expecting to fall at least a little behind, but they fell further behind than they needed to. And I think that while they kind of found themselves some breaks in that game, like in the top lane, despite falling behind, found the solo kill back, they just, fell a bit too far behind and then just didn't really have the damage to kind of clean up the game. I think Hong2 as well. Rod of Ages, once again, really questionable. I'm starting to become a Rod of Ages hater, just because it feels like either teams need to be like, okay, we're building Rod of Ages, we're just not going to fight and wait for it, or build something early, because so many times these early game fights are decided by who has damage and who doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw as that Gragas kind of got ahead, really helped this team secure some of those early game team fight wins. But one thing I want to ask you, who do you think is going to get MVP?